they can't believe that it just does this. If you touch it, I mean, it's solid. And then all of a sudden it becomes something else. It expands and moves, and it gives you that idea of flexibility, of movement. And that's what I was trying to achieve when I made this, you know? And not just the top, it goes all the way up to the bottom. Somehow I've been able to change the way that we perceive sculpture. It entertains, it excites. Hi, my name is Felix Semper, and I am an artist. My first paper sculpture I glued solid, and I said, how am I going to prove this is paper? It took me about a year to kind of come up with the whole system. And once that happened, that first sculpture, I took it to New York, and I went to Washington Square Park and just kind of messed around with people. I just wanted to get people's feedback and reaction. It started going viral. Most of my stuff is recycled paper, and I try to do that as much as I can. So what I do is I take sheets of paper, individual sheets of paper, glue them in stacks, and then I cut them to about the size that I think the sculpture is going to be, and then I start carving it. So all this process is eliminating paper. It's kind of like the original technique of sculpting, but in a different method. I'm using paper versus stone or any other medium. But the fun part about it is that I paint it and give it the original look. So you really, a lot of times you can't really tell if it's paper or of what we're talking about. I was invited to a dinner, like a wine dinner. And then I brought this bottle with me. And everybody brought their own bottle and stuff. And so I walk in like that, I say, oh wow, you got a nice French bottle right there. I say, yeah, it's Bordeaux, man. Here, let me, when this were like that, they were freaking out. They went crazy. Things that are inspire me are things that are around me. I made a Lay's potato chip bags, and then A$AP Rocky bought it, and then all these celebrities started talking. So it's just kind of exploded that way. So it involves painting, and it involves sculpture, and it involves performance art, because I take these pieces and I go into the public, I open them and show them what it does. So it becomes a performance art. This is my new series. This is actually, I finished this not long ago. This is a flexible wood sculpture. So I said, I'm gonna make a wood that I can twist and turn, and it goes in any direction. And then of course he has a hat that is flexible. I went to a place where it had like old junk stuff, and then this old TV was just sitting around there. When I saw the TV, it's from the 1950s. I said, I wonder how many people watch, like what was the most famous show back in the day, the kids loved. So I was, I did some research, and it was, Howdy Duty. So I said, I bet I can put Howdy Duty in there in black and white, and I want to just kind of bring it, you kind of mix all kinds of mediums together. So I develop a motor and put it inside, and Howdy Duty comes up, remote control, and he expands. That's what this art does. It engages the viewer not only to look, but to participate. It just keeps evolving, and that's the beauty about this art. I think it expands your mind, because you're looking at an object that is solid, and all of a sudden this object does something else. I can do anything, I think, with paper.